there, I'm Artistic Gamer 7, and welcome back to some more of the Elder Scrolls Create a Sim. Today we are creating the first Divine among the list. So I can't remember if I actually mentioned this in the first video. Because there are more Daedric Princes than Divines, I have split it up to where there's like 2 Daedric Princes and then a Divine, and then 2 more Daedric Princes, then another Divine. And that's sort of how I'm going about it, just because to sort of equally spread them out the best I can with how many there were. So today we are creating the first of the Divines, which is probably the least looking Divine one compared to the rest of them, though most of the Divines mainly look like ordinary Sims for the most part. Like, there's nothing like extremely extraordinary about them necessarily, but that's honestly sort of the look of the Divines, which, you know, I get, but at the same time I wish there was a little bit more so I could have a little bit more fun with it and play around with it a little bit more. But I get at the same time because most of them are dressed very similarly from what depictions I can find. A lot of them have similar hair. A lot of them don't even have, like, when I was looking, they didn't have too many reference images other than, like, the way their shrines look, like, when it comes to pictures anyway, their shrines and, like, stained glass images and things like that. So that's what I was sort of going off of with a lot of the Divines. But this is Akatosh. I think I'm saying this right. Again, I'm probably going to mispronounce a big chunk of these, but hopefully I'm getting it close enough that you know who I'm talking about if you've played any of the Elder Scrolls games. And for those of you who haven't, you might can figure out how to spell it if you want to search it up on your own. But Akatosh is technically basically the leader of the 9 Divines. So, and he's also the one Divine that is in the majority of the religions of the people of Tamriel, which is the big, like, continent that the Elder Scrolls takes place on. So, like, Skyrim is there, Morrowind, Cyrodiil, I'm forgetting what some of them called. I think Black Marsh is one of them. Elsewhere, blah, 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 blah. Valenwood is, I think one's Valenwood. And I know I'm forgetting some of them. Or, well, a lot of them. At one point, I knew all of them. I remember the races, I just can't remember. High Rock is one of them. But yeah, anyway, you get the point. That is the whole of Tamriel. This is the one Divine that the majority of the people do have him in, like, their pantheon. And like I mentioned before, technically, since this is a world of many different races, they look at the Divines and the Daedric Princes slightly different. Some of them look at the Daedric Princes as more of good people and don't really care about the Divines, versus others look at the Divines as the good ones and the Daedra as the bad. For the most part, that is the majority. Divines good, Daedra bad. That is the majority of the overall feel, but you get what I'm saying. There's, just like in real life, there's all sorts of different types of religions and stuff like that. And I technically know there are other, like, Divine-like beings and also Daedra-like beings. I've read a few of them here and there, and then, like, pieces of reading about all these ones that I did do. So if you're interested in me trying to look further into some of the other ones that I don't create in this series, that are not like, they're not like the big ones that get mentioned a whole lot, at least not if you play Skyrim for sure, because that's the one that I'm most familiar with. But, like, I'm sure, like, if you read all the books and things like that you can find in Skyrim, some of them are definitely probably mentioned. But anyway, some of the other ones that, whether something happened to them, or they're so, like, a lot of people don't even acknowledge their existence, or whatever, if you want me to give them a try, let me know down in the comments below. Depending on how much I can find of them and how many they are, will sort of determine if I actually will try to create them. But I definitely, if y'all want to potentially see that, then I definitely will try, and if I think I can, then I will let y'all know, and if not, then I will also let you know. But anyway, back to Akatosh here. So Akatosh is sort of, he is known as, like, the dragon god of time. So that right there might at least tell you a hint why Akatosh is a little bit differently. A lot of the depictions that I did find of Akatosh, and he's got some of the more depictions of him but compared to some of the other ones, at least that I found, but he technically is like a dragon that also has a human form, or at least they like to imagine that he has a human form. That I can't fully gather. But he definitely has a dragon form, at least. If not, technically that is his all-the-time form. And one of the statues I actually seen of him actually gave him two heads. One a dragon head and one a human head. But obviously I can't do that in Sims, so I went to the closest thing. I gave him like some pointed teeth to represent the dragon. I gave him like this shine to his skin, to not only because he's a divine, but also maybe to think like, you know, there's some scales maybe hiding up underneath there, and I gave him like some dragon horns and dragon eyes, just to represent some of that dragon part about him, but also have him look a little bit human-like. A lot of the Divines do have a very similar look to them, though, overall, so I will say that was one of the struggles when doing the Divines. Especially the males, just because I did not have a lot of options that sort of fit. They have, like, these long robe-like things on, so I had to get very imaginative with them. So basically, I was trying to give them outfits that had longer jackets on them, or they looked like they were close to robes, or something similar to it at least. With him, I did decide to go with this one jacket, partially because it was long, but also it does look a little bit on the fancier side. He is supposed to be the leader of the Divines, but also it sort of looks like it's got some sort of scaling pattern on the jacket, so, you know, being with the dragon thing as well, and it's also sort of gold looking. So that's sort of why I chose to do that for him. But I will say, for the most part, because a lot of the Divines were dressed sort of similarly, it made it a little bit harder to create some of them. So it's part of the reason why I sort of enjoyed doing some of the Daedra more. But I will say this Creative Sim series was a little bit more of a challenge than I thought it was going to be, but I still enjoyed it. I still had a lot of fun. So I hope you're liking the series so far and what is to come in the series. Let me know your thoughts on Akatosh down below and how it turned out. If you are interested in reading about Akatosh and seeing what I used as references, I will try to remember to put the site that I used down in the description below. If I forget, feel free to remind me if you want to look at that exact site. And out of curiosity, out of the 3 that have been posted so far, who is your favorite so far in the series, and who are you potentially looking forward to seeing the most that has not come up yet? There's quite a few of them to still come, so I'd be intrigued to hear your thoughts on that. If you like Akatosh and you like the video, make sure you hit that lovely like button. Subscribe if you're not already so that you don't miss out on future videos in this series, as well as other things here on the channel. You know, all that lovely YouTube goodiness, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!